time no vlog update. I don't even know if I remember how to vlog. It's been a couple weeks. I also spilled a bunch of water on myself. Please don't mind me. How's everyone doing? How's life? What are you reading? Have you given any 5 stars recently? My life has been consumed by moving and feeling really sad and happy about this move. I don't know. It's a lot of mixed feelings. I do really love our new space. Still trying to get used to it. There's still just things everywhere, but for the most part I would say we're like 90% unpacked at this point. But overall, just settling in, just trying to like deal with all the emotions that come with moving, and also the stress of moving cats, who are very particular. Cats in general are very particular creatures, but my cats especially are very particular, very sensitive to change, very sensitive to new routines, very sensitive to everything. The only one who's a chill little guy is Goose, and that's because he used to live on the streets. Like, nothing phases him really. I bought some books. I'm trying not to buy books. I actually recently purchased a Kobo, which is hopefully coming soon, like relatively soon. I'm really excited to make the switch to Kobo. I've wanted a Kobo for years now, and I am very drawn to buttons on e-readers. Very drawn to that. Very drawn to the fact that this is color. So I got the color one. And I'm also very drawn to the fact that you can annotate with this. I did not end up getting the stylus right away because I'm not really sure if I'm gonna have a desire to do that. But I'm gonna wait and see how like my reading progresses with this before I spend the money on a stylus. However, very excited about it being a color, especially because my first e-reader that I ever got was the Kindle Fire. And I did that because I got my first e-reader when I was in college, like my last 2 years of college. And I thought that it could work as like an iPad without having to spend the money for an iPad. It doesn't. It does not. But it ended up being such a fun e-reader for me because it had all the features of a Kindle, except that everything was in color. And then I switched to the Paperwhite, and I've enjoyed the Paperwhite. I really actually like the matte screen and the whole aesthetic to the Paperwhite, that it's supposed to be like reading a book, but it's your e-reader. I really do enjoy that. So I'm really looking forward to the Kobo because I will get the color highlights, and it'll also be like the Paperwhite quality. So I'm excited about that. Also, it's like integrated into your library. So I'm really looking forward to that as well, because to be completely honest with you, I really only read ebooks from the library. I don't buy a lot of ebooks because the price point. In my mind, I love having the physical copies, although that mindset is really changing. With another move, I'm like, Jesus, Stephanie, you don't need this many books. But I do. I do. Anyway, I bought some books. I just recently finished The Bridge Kingdom, the first book in the Bridge Kingdom series. This book, The Bridge Kingdom, recently finished it. This was so fun. This was so fun. I'm actually really glad that I ended up picking this up because, funny enough, last time I was moving, which was like a year ago, I tried to read this while I was moving, and much like this move and like every other move in my life, I read so little during a move because my brain is going a million miles an hour. I'm thinking of all the things that I need to do. And so books just like don't hold my attention. So I tried to read this about a year ago when I was moving. It wasn't holding my attention, so I DNF'd it. I don't even know how far I got into it, but I can tell you that I retained nothing because I started this. I only remembered the first chapter, and then I was like, why did I DNF this? Why wasn't this holding my attention? This was so fun. I really liked the politics. I liked our 2 main characters. I liked their romance. I liked that it was slow burn. So I'm really looking forward to moving on with the rest of the series. And I found out, which I didn't know until I restarted this, that the Bridge Kingdom series is actually a series of duologies, much like The Serpent and the Wings of Night, where the overall politics and like everything that transpires in the first duology affects the rest of the series, but we are following different couples. So the first duology is following Laura and Aden, and they have like a political marriage. They got married at the beginning of the book. They come from warring kingdoms, and this is supposed to be like a way to bring peace to this war that's kind of gone on between them. But Laura is actually really there to be a spy and take down the kingdom. Now, obviously this is romanticy, so she does end up falling for Aden. Aden ends up falling for her. I'm assuming there will be a happily ever after because it's a series of duologies and the couples do get their own conclusions in each duology. But like I said, the plot continues forward. So I did get The Inadequate Heir, which follows a new couple. This is the beginning of the new couple. I don't know who the new couple is. I have a feeling of who all of the couples in here are going to be. Well, the women, but who knows? I haven't read the synopsis because I don't want to spoil myself for the second book. But I was loving the British Kingdom so much that I ended up going out and getting this. So I'm very, very excited to see who this is about. And I'm also very excited to see how this world expands, like what's going to be happening with the politics, how's this plot going to move forward. Very much looking forward to that. It's really fun to be obsessed with a romantasy, especially one that is concluding soon, which is what happened with me and Raven Kennedy up there. I picked up Guild like right before the final book in the series was about to come out, and I did not know that. I actually had thought that Guild was completed, or the Plated Prisoner series was completed at the time. No, little did I know it was 6 books. Also, I'm really obsessed with these covers. Del Rey, you put your whole Rey-o-see into this one. And then the next 2 books I actually got because, well, I've read them and I enjoyed them. So I got Hopeless and Reckless by Elsie Silver. I love the Chestnut Spring series, but my 3 favorite are Heartless, Reckless, and Hopeless. But Reckless and Heartless have my heart. I go back and forth between Heartless and Reckless being my favorite, but I think it's Heartless because I really, really love Willa. But I need to reread these, which actually is what inspired me to purchase these, because I actually listened to all of these, so I really want to go back and reread my 3 favorites from this series. So I'm really hoping that when Heartless is back in stock, I will get that, and then I will probably reread all 3 of these and like annotate and just see how I feel, see which one truly is my favorite in the series, or are they all just my favorite and I don't have to pick, because why would I do that to myself? I love all of them. Anyway, that's what I've been up to. I really just wanted to start this vlog to say hi and let you know that we are going to be, I guess, mood reading through this probably, because I just want to get back in the groove of reading and like routines. I really want to get back into some good routines, and part of that is getting back into vlogging and also reading. I would really love to read. I really, really would love to read. So I think that I'm going to reread The Stardust Thief. That is something that's been on my mind recently because the Ashfire Prince comes out this Tuesday, and it has been such a long wait between The Stardust Thief and the Ash Prince. Is it the Ash Prince? The Ashfire Prince. What is the title? Anyway, it's been a long time between book 1 and 2. The release date got pushed back a bunch of times. I don't really know what was happening, but it's here. It's finally going to be coming out on Tuesday, and I'm very excited about it actually. I really love desert fantasy. The Stardust Thief actually gives me a lot of the same vibes as the City of Brass, so I'm hoping that this series has the same trajectory for me as the City of Brass, where I enjoyed the first book, but it wasn't my like favorite book of all time. And then I absolutely loved the second and third book, and it has become one of my favorite series of all time with some of my favorite characters of all time. And I actually remember when I read The Stardust Thief, which I read for a vlog. I read for just like a silly vlog where drinks controlled my TBR. I ended up picking that book, and I remember it taking me so long to get through it. And it wasn't because of my lack of enjoyment of the book. There was just something going on in my life at that time. I really don't remember, but it took me forever to get through that book. So ultimately, I felt like I didn't give that book its best chance with me. So I want to reread it because I really loved the first like quarter of it, and then I think I remember getting a little bit bored in the middle and then loving the ending. So I'm gonna dive back into that book, and we'll probably also read, maybe, I guess it depends on how long it takes me, the second book in this vlog as well. I'm gonna go get into bed because I'm on my period and I feel horrible. I'm also just very tired. I feel slightly awkward because this is the first time I've lived in an apartment where my windows literally face the courtyard where everyone walks. So the likelihood of somebody walking by while I'm doing this is very high. It's very high. Jared and I did buy this thing. Let me grab it. We bought this privacy control window film that we're gonna put in the kitchen and then we're gonna put in my office because the cats look out the front window in the living room and then they look out the back window in our bedroom. So in the office, we're gonna put this and in here so we don't like have to always have the blinds closed for privacy. So hopefully this works. Otherwise, I'm just gonna have to get used to people potentially seeing me film. I'm very shy about filming in front of people. Even Jared, like I will film in front of him every so often, but I get very shy about it. Anyway, we're gonna make a matcha. I actually got a new milk because I've been seeing a lot of people talk about this milk, like how it's really good for matchas, and I'm trying to step up my matcha game this year because I've been seeing so many recipes that are very fun and I want to. I want to have the best possible matchas at home that I can because why not? Why not have a little fun drink at home? Anyway, let me show you the milk. Or should I say milk? That was cheesy. Anyway, I got the milk brand. I got the vanilla one because I thought that would be fun. I'm still gonna add a little bit of vanilla, but I'm trying to cut back on the amount of sugar that I have because I am quite the sugar fiend. I love sugar. You know what's funny is I actually love salt and sugar because you give me a salty snack like chips or popcorn or whatever and a soda, I'm in heaven. Although I don't like juices or really anything else sweet drink wise other than soda and my matchas because I don't even drink like sweetened tea. So I don't really know like what it is about soda, the fizzy soda drinks that get me. Because I don't even really like flavored sodas. I just like a straight up cola. Anyway, the whole point is this has vanilla in it, but it only has 4 grams of sugar per serving. And then I'm only gonna add like 2 pumps, maybe even less, maybe 1 pump of vanilla. Because I normally only add 2.5 to 3 pumps of vanilla in my matchas or strawberry. But I might actually do strawberry today. I don't really know. Anyway, it's gonna be less pumps than normal. Okay, this is a... Someone's calling me. Earthquake. I don't feel the earthquake, so I'm just gonna keep alert. I don't know if it's because of the milk. It's not as creamy. It's more watery. It looked more watery to me, which makes sense because it doesn't have like a lot of the fillers and probably the stuff that makes the oat milk I use creamy. So it is a lot darker even though I use the same ratio. I'm scared. I'm scared. I love the taste of matcha, so I'll still drink this, but I'm a little scared. It's not bad. The thing is though, I don't taste the vanilla by any means. And also it's just not as creamy. You know, maybe additives are the answer. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I watched the first episode of The Last of Us season 2 yesterday, and I think I'm gonna rewatch the first season again. It'll be my 3rd time. It'll be my 3rd time rewatching it. Oh my God. Okay. I forgot. It's Tuesday. Hey, it's Tuesday. I forgot that today is not only the release of The Ashfire King, it is also the release of Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage, which if you know, if you've been around, I love that series, and for some reason, I thought that Wild and Wrangled was coming out in May. Was it supposed to originally come out in May? I don't know, but it's coming out today. So it is currently 8:30 and I have to start work at 9. It's my work from home day, but you bet I'm going to take a little 15-minute break and go to the bookstore as soon as they open and go get both of these books. And I'm going to be so completely honest with you, I don't even know if I'm going to get to the Ashfire King in this video now, because I'm sure Wild and Wrangled is going to take precedent. Although I don't know. I'm really excited about it, but I'm actually very much in a fantasy mood, and I am currently pretty far into the Stardust Thief. I think I'm a little over 200 pages in. Yeah, I'm on chapter 30, page 207, and I think this is only like 400 and something pages, 460 pages. So I am almost exactly halfway through this. I'm really having a good time. I'm glad that I'm reading it as fast as I am, because I am currently at the point in the book where I remember taking forever to get through, and there's like a little bit of a lull for me, but I feel like I could listen to the majority of this today, and I don't know if I could get it done because I did pretty much read the 200 pages yesterday. I was doing a lot of projects around the house. I do have work today, so I'm not going to be as locked into different projects around the house today, but I do want to hang up my shelves. I have some shelves that are going over my computer area so I can hang art, not hang, but place art on them. And then I also have to go to the other house after work today or on my lunch break, I don't really know, and start cleaning. Because our last day of getting everything cleaned and out of the house, which everything's out of the house except for like we're selling a few things, and so we're waiting for the people to come pick those up. Those are still at the other place, but otherwise we really just need to clean that place. But yeah, 200 pages in, still really enjoying this, still holding up for me. This follows 3 POVs. I actually forgot that it followed 3 POVs. I thought it was dual POV. And even when I read it the first time, I was really surprised at the 3rd POV just because I wasn't expecting it. I'm sure it'll make more sense down the line. And I actually think at the end of the book, it makes more sense why she's a POV. But essentially we have Luli, who's our kind of our main character. And she has this identity of the Midnight Merchant. So she can find really interesting artifacts and djinn relics that she sells, and people don't really know her identity. They don't really know how she gets these relics. And then you have Prince Mazen, and Prince Mazen is, in theory, he is a king in waiting, but he doesn't really want the throne. He's not been interested in anything like that. There's a lot of turmoil within his family in general because his mother was killed by a djinn, but also right before that happened, she had had an affair that brought about another child. So there's a lot of turmoil within their family, and just the way that each kid is treated is much differently. And Mazen is not super into the idea of being the king. He also isn't really allowed to leave the house on his own. He always has to have like a retinue, but he loves stories and he loves storytelling. So he always wants to go out and go to the markets, but he wants to go kind of anonymously, and so he sneaks out of the house. And one day when he sneaks out of his house, he ends up getting lured by a djinn, and Luli sees this happen and saves him. Unfortunately, what this does is it reveals her identity to Mazen's other brother, Omar. So Omar, knowing her identity, ends up revealing it to his father, the king, who then forces Luli to go on this adventure to find him this lost djinn relic that is supposed to hold a very powerful djinn. I can't remember if this is supposed to be an Aladdin retelling because it is like the genie in the lamp situation. I am at the point in the book where they are already trekking through the desert to find this lamp. There's already been some mishaps that have happened with djinn. I think that's the thing I really love in this book, and I love in City of Brass, is that you're very much interacting with djinn. This one, there's only one character that's a djinn that you're like constantly in interaction with. Otherwise, you're seeing how the djinn and humans interact in this world. Really, really loving that. And I also am enjoying the adventure aspect of this. More recently, I've read a few adventure books where I've questioned if I like the adventure portion of a book, but it just really has to be well done. Like, It has to move in a way that makes sense, but enough happening that it's pushing things forward in an interesting way and not super repetitive, because I do think it's very easy to be repetitive in an adventure story. This does not fall into that trap for me so far, but I'm also very invested in this world and I like the characters. I think the characters are very interesting. If I remember right, there's like a little bit of romance that happens in here. I don't know if I enjoyed that previously, so I'll see how I feel this time. But yeah, safe to say I'm having a really good time and I think I could finish this today, maybe. I don't know. I actually don't get a lot of reading done on my work from home days. I thought I would get more done, but I don't.
She was doing fine and I was doing right, falling into daydreams of our lives. I tried my best to hide feelings deep inside, starstruck in those eyes. I didn't think she knew my existence, wondering with all persistence, wondering where she gone, falling further on. Stay, don't wanna play princess, don't fade, cause one day you'll be mine. Don't wanna stay, don't wanna play princess, don't fade, cause one day you'll be mine. When we met, she was so perfect.
I'm obsessed with this stuff. I don't even know if you can see what it says, but it says Good Light. That's the brand. And then this is a triple peptide lip nectar. Really, really enjoy this. I'm actually really obsessed with this brand right now. I use their toner, a serum, and an oil. Love it. Love it, babes. Wow, what a week it's been. I've just had a really rough week. Literally the first day back to work, a bunch of stuff happened and it threw me off for the week so far. I'm also prepping for my seed library to launch. That is launching at the end of the month. I am writing up a post about it. I'm trying to think up every single question that a patron would have about a seed library. So anytime I'm off or like people can't find me because I'm in a meeting or I'm at lunch or something and there's a question about the seed library, they have something to turn to answer those questions. And also I have been having to make like smaller packets of the seeds for this event because there's going to be a lot of people and I want to try to make my seeds go as far as possible. So yeah, it's been a lot of seed library prep, and then I have like quite a few programs that are happening between May and August, and I'm just like trying to stay on top of all of it because I think I have 7 programs happening within that time frame. So work has just been really busy for me. And also I'm simultaneously checked out because of the state of the world, first and foremost, the state of libraries and museums, secondly, and third, because life is lifing a little too close to the sun and I just need it to chill out and I just need to get back into routines. I do feel like vlogging has helped me. This week of vlogging has helped me feel a little bit normal, but I'm still feeling weird. I really don't feel like myself and I don't know if that will change anytime soon, to be honest. I'm just trying to find like pockets of joy. I'm trying to get excited about little things in life. Like my Kobo's coming tomorrow. It was actually supposed to come today and then it didn't, which is fine. I want to spend this weekend, I'm doing like a readathon with my patrons. I want to spend this weekend exploring my Kobo and like I want to find an ebook to get on the Kobo, whether it's through the library or just like buying an ebook. I don't really buy a lot of ebooks, but I want to because they have some pretty good sales. So yeah, that's all to say I did not get a lot of reading done this week, but I did finish a book, which is great. I finished my reread of The Stardust Thief. I ended up really, really enjoying this the second time around. And I'm glad that I reread it because there were lots of things that I didn't remember. However, I actually remembered so much of this book, which was surprising to me because I read this 2 or 3 years ago. I don't even remember when it came out. I guess it's been 3 years. So yeah, I read this 3 years ago. I'm surprised at how much I remember of this, but I will say like the middle parts I didn't remember as much, which makes sense to me because that was the part when I read it the first time that lulled a bit for me. But this time I read this in like 3-ish sittings, and that definitely helped with the pacing issue that I had previously because I didn't really feel that way this time. I was fully engaged into the book the entire time. I actually didn't feel like there was a lull in the middle. I thought the pacing was really well done. We had dips and valleys of like fast pace reveals and quests happening, but then there were slower, softer moments where we were getting to know our characters. We were also getting these stories, which is actually a really big part of the narrative. The narrative is all about interweaving storytelling. So our two characters, Mazen and Luli, they are storytellers. They're known for being really great at weaving a story. And there are actually sections in the book that look like this, where they're weaving together a story, and it also is world building because it's telling you about these different Jinn kings and queens and why these relics are important to these Jinn kings and queens and what these relics do and how they made them magical. Because the overarching plot of this is Luli going on the adventure to find this really powerful Jinn, but through that journey she is learning about the different Jinn kings and queens, and she's learning about ghouls, and she's learning kind of why the king wants this artifact, but also why these artifacts exist. And I think that that is my favorite part of the book because I really love desert fantasies that have Jinn and that sort of lore to it. So it's really fun how Chelsea Abdullah like weaves all these different stories together, because I did end up researching it, and this is an Aladdin retelling, but it's also just a retelling of the many stories in the 1001 Nights. So there's different aspects of storytelling in here, and I just really love it. I like the way this is interwoven. I think the adventure was done really well. I like all of these characters. I like how our characters grew through this book, and I also like how their relationships are changing. This also ends on quite the cliffhanger / reveal, and I'm desperate to jump into the next book. So I am going to be focusing on that probably this weekend for my Patreon's readathon, and you guessed it, Wild and Wrangled. I do feel like this trilogy could be a favorite, and I do think that if you like City of Brass, that this is a fun series to dive into because I think it'll give you some of those vibes. It's not the same. I don't think that if you like one that you'll necessarily like the other, but I think that if you like the vibes of City of Brass, the desert fantasy, the Jinn, the adventure aspects of City of Brass, I think that you could really like this series. And I do think that the series has the potential to get stronger and stronger with each book, and I'm really hoping for that for the second book. I'm going in kind of apprehensively just because of how often it was pushed off. I'm a little bit worried about that, but not too worried because I really enjoyed this one. So I'm looking forward to diving into the next one, and I'm looking forward to diving into Wild and Wrangled because I've been seeing such interesting reviews. Like, not that people don't like it. I feel like it's been a mixed bag for the reviews that I've seen. So I'm really looking forward to diving into it because I also think Lost and Lassoed had quite the mixed bag of reviews, and I ended up loving Lost and Lassoed. Loved it. So I think I'm gonna go make myself some mac and cheese because I went grocery shopping right after I got off work, and I got this really exciting mac and cheese. I think it's called Goodle. I think that's how you pronounce it. And it's supposed to be a white cheddar hatch chili concoction. I don't know. I'm gonna whip up some broccoli and those Goodles, and I think I'm gonna read for the rest of the night.